Hey y'all, hey, it's JJ Conway. Welcome to Building Wealth Together, where our goal is to help you walk in abundance and leave a legacy.
Hey everybody, it's JJ. I hope you are finding a way today to burn off all that turkey and dressing and other stuff. And I thought I was going to have more to burn out because the food last night was so delicious. But I just wasn't hungry enough to go back for third and fourths and fifths and sixths. And I guess the older I get and the more I'm trying to get in tune with my body, it's like, is it worth it? We're going to just take some later. But this whole week's been an awkward week for me anyway, because for those of you who don't know, just 3 years ago this week, we lost my father. And so while everybody else was driving home for Thanksgiving to be with family and friends, me and my husband and my little one, we were driving home for Thanksgiving to clean up the mess of my father falling down in the house and trying to get together his affairs and start the process of getting him buried. And so that was right before Thanksgiving. And then the actual funeral was right before Christmas. So it's funny. It's not funny. But I keep forgetting that all that happened at Thanksgiving time. And I'm pretty sure I made a similar video last year that was like, wow, I've been real extra angry and cranky and snappy all week. And then I realized, oh, it's the anniversary of Dad's passing away. And the same realization yesterday, like, hey, wait, what is wrong with me? And I've missed client things. I haven't fulfilled orders like I normally would. There's like things I could do for the business and I just didn't, like just a trail of lethargy and then anger, and I haven't been able to sleep right, and all of that together makes for one cranky JJ Conway. And yesterday, I'm like, I have got to pull this together. I cannot be cranky today. We're driving up to Dallas to have Thanksgiving with some friends. And it's like, Lord, why am I so cranky? And that's when the Spirit reminded me, because this is only the third time since the third holiday since your dad passed, that you are having to, your body is remembering everything that you went through with that sudden phone call that he suddenly died. Like he was in good health. Nobody expected him to pass away. And I wasn't ever real super close with my family, right? Like, I wasn't that kid. Let me come over here. My trail is if y'all can't tell, it's kind of rainy. My trail's all muddy, so I'm just walking in a loop. Like, I feel like this is a safe loop where I can walk and do the phone and not worry about getting run over, right? Because nobody really drives over here. But like, I was never super close with my family, but there were two people in my family who were really pulling for me to succeed in my ministry, and that was my grandma Denty and my father. And he's not my bio dad, but he adopted me and raised me as his own, and we didn't have a good childhood. Like, when I went off to the Air Force Academy, my mom had already divorced and remarried by then. But I was really happy to get away. And it wasn't until a long time after graduating, because when I graduated from the academy, he was incarcerated. And it took a few years after he got out for me to see if his jailhouse conversion really stuck, And, but after Philip was born, he came down to visit. He was a trucker, so our house was along his route. And we started new. We started a brand new relationship. And so it was precious to me. And sometimes we don't always show how much we care about something. Or we sometimes don't even know how much we care about somebody until they're gone. But the body knows. The body knows, and the body experiences that grief. Two things that come up to me about grief yesterday. One was John Deloney's, that's not the raid, y'all. I'm like, oh, wow, that rain's really coming down. No, I'm actually starting to cry, which is a little embarrassing for me. So y'all be gentle, all right? Like, I think I've cried more in the last 2 years of being retired from the military than I've probably cried my entire military career. And just about random stuff that I thought I dealt with years ago, you know. But what came to me yesterday, actually there's 3 things that really helped me yesterday. But 2 happened before we went to my friend's house for Thanksgiving dinner. The first one was the example that Dr. John Deloney gives in his podcast. I forget the name of his podcast, but he's a Ramsey personality. So he talks a lot about the personal relationship issues that keep us from succeeding with money. And he was talking about how grief, when you're grieving, it's like you're sitting under this tree of grief, and the shade is on you. This shade of grief is on you. And over time, you move away from it, you grow taller, the shade's not on you as much, but every so often, you find yourself back in that shade of that tree, and you find yourself back in that grief, and that's a normal, natural process. And so, that's one thing that, you know, when we are grieving, even if you didn't have the strongest relationship, and I don't have any regrets, you know what I mean? Like people, some people grieve that they regret this or regret that. And I saw that in my early days as a minister. So I've tried to live my life with no regrets. You know, like, I know I'm not really talking to my mom right now, but I don't regret that situation, because I feel like I've done everything I can to smooth things over, and nothing's good enough. You know, sometimes, and I'm sure she would say this isn't the case, but sometimes it feels like the only way certain people are going to be happy with you is if you say everything they do and say is right, and everything people do and say isn't right. My experience isn't your experience, and if I don't understand the experience you've lived through, then I can't possibly make a judgment about your life. It's like a friend of mine who, well, I'm not going to go into all that, but let me talk about the other thing with grieving. I'm getting all these texts now. I know I'm getting kind of long on that, but like, I could see it showing up, and I didn't understand how it affects me. And, come back to me now. Your mind isn't just your brain. Your mind isn't just your brain, right? So we think our mind is our brain. It's our memory and our ability to think and all that. But that's not just our mind. Our mind is the whole body. There is memory and reaction and mind, whatever the mind really is, whatever that is, it's in our whole body. That's why if I took a lemon right now and I bit into that lemon and you saw my face pucker up, many of you would pucker up. If I had a chalkboard back here and I screeched my nails down it and you couldn't hear it because I'm on a speakers and it wouldn't pick up that noise, but you would see it and your whole body would recoil. The mind is embedded in every cell of your body. And so it's not just what we remember, and it's not just what we bulldoze through so we can forget about the pain of this and the pain of that. And it's not just the intellect that says, well, I'm going to just think about the bright side. Because I tried to do that all morning yesterday. Like, instead of missing Dad, I could think about a legacy of generosity and kind-heartedness that he displayed to all his friends in his second half of life, friends who still come to me and tell me stories about him, you know. And then of course my grief spilled over into every other area of life. So then, you know, then I'm irritated with the family. I'm irritated. I took my son up to Lubbock, and we thought we were gonna have to cancel everything out because he made varsity. And so I'm calling these people like, I'm sorry, we're not gonna be able to come now because my son made varsity and we expect them to win this game. And then at the last minute, they fall out. So I'm like scrambling to put everything back, and it all works into place, and I'm trying to be happy about that, but then the car breaks down. Not once, but twice. So it breaks down Wednesday, and at first I'm like, oh, big bite of bravado, financial planner mom, I remember those days when the red light on my car used to make me cry and cry and cry. But this time, that Monday morning, it was like, write the check, you know? And I was like, yeah, man, all my hard work pays off because I have the money, I have the savings. We're going to get this taken care of. It's not going to hurt my weekend. Well, that was the first time it broke down. When it broke down the second day, now I'm about to be in tears like, what is my poor son going to think? And how much is this repairs going to be? Because I already knew other stuff that needed to be repaired, and it's going to have to go into the emergency fund, not my checking account. But instead of focusing, and this is what I had to really do, is focus on the good side. But all I could focus on is, we took this trip, and now this is falling apart, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and my new car is not here yet. Such first world problems. But it wasn't really about the car. It was the body's response to trauma, and me now recognizing that I'm really missing Dad. Like, like, have y'all ever done this? I know I can't be the only person that's ever done this, and I've done this in other things. Like, I'm all mad about this issue, and I'm solving this issue, or maybe not solving it. Maybe I'm going shopping, because that tends to be my drug of choice, right? People don't believe that because I'm not a brand name person, but I love to go click, click, click. You know, I love opening up those boxes. And you know you're a shopaholic now. You know you're a shopaholic if you get the box from Amazon and you're so excited to open it up. And as soon as you open it up, you're ready for the next box. You don't even care about what's inside anymore. You just want the next box. That's a shopaholic. And if you're that person, you and I are in the same boat. And it's time to let the Lord come in and heal. So for me, it's a red flag when I see that happening. And that didn't happen this time for whatever, because I'm saving up for a new car. And I already had to come clean to Mr. Man. I already spent some of that car money once. And I thought if I spent it on this new thing for my business, it would make enough money that I could put it back and then some. I mean, it wasn't gambling. My friends had did it, and they made plenty of money in their businesses. Anybody identify with me today? So I wasn't going to do that again. But that's, you know, these are flags, these are symptoms. And for me, one of the biggest symptoms is when I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And I mean, I have a lot of injuries and a lot of health concerns. But when I can't sleep, or when I'm snippy at my entire family, that's a sign that something else is going on. And it's time to take into it. And one of the things, so I told you the two things. One was that how grief is like a shade of a tree. Sometimes you pass under it, and the more older you get, the taller you get, the more active you get, the less you pass under that shade. That's Dr. John Deloney. But then the other one is how the mind isn't just your brain, it's every cell of your body. The memories are stored in every cell of your body. And so that's why doing things to take care of your body, like I'm out here walking, doing things to take care of your body can help you overcome the trauma that you have. And I've been talking to ladies and men, and many men and women have been traumatized by the treatment of black women in the Air Force. And getting in to tell them my stories has been very therapeutic. Anybody who's experienced trauma, whether it's something like that or loss of a loved one, by taking better care of yourself, you are showing the rest of your body and showing all them cells in your brain. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not speaking medically. I'm just speaking from experience. It shows the body that is safe. It's safe to grieve. It's safe to process those emotions. It's safe to cry. It's safe to be who you are in the moment that you are, so that you can move forward. And so that instead of grieving that person and being stuck in time, that you can grieve that person and honor their legacy and move forward. All right? And so I pulled myself together. I worked really hard to focus on all the positives. So like every time something would come up, I'm so mad about this. Yes, but Lord, I thank you for this. So I worked really hard to stay in gratefulness. And then we get to my friend's house, which was kind of a last minute thing, because again, I thought we were going to be in football playoffs, which meant we were going to have football practice this week. So we weren't going to be doing Thanksgiving at somebody's house. You know, because people around here, they all got their family here, but we don't have our family here. So they can do Thanksgiving and still go to football practice. For us, we got to travel to do Thanksgiving, you know. We'll do it ourselves, and I ain't trying to cook for 2 days just for them to eat it all in 5 minutes and go watch the game. I don't know. That's just, I'm tired of that. So we do order in Thanksgivings, right? But we couldn't order in because we weren't sure what was going on. Anyway, When I get to my friend's house, she's like, I have your sweater that you left behind. And she opens up one of the sweatshirts, y'all. She opens up this bag. She had washed it and folded nice and neatly. And it was one of my Pittsburgh Steelers sweatshirts that I can't remember if Dad bought it for me or if I bought it for me for the game we took him to in Houston. But it was one of mine that really reminded me of Dad. And so I immediately took off my sweater, my dinner sweater, and put that sweatshirt on. And I just snuggled up in it all night. And I just remembered the good times, you know. And I really wanted to send out like a million businesses sent me, oh, I'm so thankful. And Black Friday, like I normally do Black and Gold Friday right now. I'm so glad Shay Brown's releasing The Making of an Entrepreneur docuseries, because I guess that's going to be my Black and Gold Friday, because I just didn't have it in me, y'all. And I had to realize that that's okay. It's okay. And, you know, for one Thanksgiving, take the time over the weekend to really grieve and really just sit in the fact that this is the new life, this is the new normal, and things aren't going back to what they used to be. And so if you've been watching, I appreciate you. I got a client call I got to take. I didn't make it back to the house, but hopefully, if you new client are watching, please forgive me. I got caught up in my story. And so the first half of our call is going to be with me walking home. But I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate your support. I appreciate y'all's patience. I've had a lot going on this year. And then with the doctoral work and everything. And, you know, I really appreciate those of you who don't just be with somebody when everything's good and they're making you lots of money, but you're also with them when things aren't that great. And you're also with them as they grow into a next phase of life. So I thank you and I appreciate you and I'm thankful for you. Y'all take care and be blessed.
Love the podcast? Be sure to like, subscribe, and forward to 3 friends. You can ask a question or take a life-changing class at buildingwealthtogether.com. Now, go walk in abundance and leave a legacy.